I think we have more people here than a Taylor Swift concert. Good afternoon. I am Larry DeWeese, the Director of Music here at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Wheaton. On behalf of Pastor Jared, Pastor Anders, and the members of this church, I would like to welcome you today to the inaugural concert of the West Suburban Flute Orchestra, the largest flute orchestra in the nation. Before I continue, I would like to point out that restrooms are located through these doors over here and to the right, as well as down the stairs by the front door. If you need any special assistance, please do not hesitate to ask me or one of our ushers. St. Paul Lutheran is an open and affirming church, affirming of God's love for all, even flute players. The diverse music ministry at St. Paul has a rich history, including our organ, which was originally located in Washington, D.C., at the Episcopal Church across from the White House, having been enjoyed by every president between Coolidge and Nixon. We are honored to add this amazingly talented group as yet another chapter in the musical history that happens in this space. Not only does this group before you contain some of our own church members, but it was also founded by one of our own, David Kelsey, a valuable member of our church ministry. David is an outreach services librarian at the St. Charles Public Library and past president of the National Association of Bookmobile and Outreach Services. He has won pretty much every award in his field and doubled the membership of ABOS while president. He has combined his outreach skills and his passion for flutes, especially low flutes, to create this special moment in which we are about to partake. Without further ado and rambling from me, I now have the privilege to introduce you to David Kelsey, founder of the West Suburban Flute Orchestra.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is David Kelsey, and I am proud and honored to be the founder of our very own West Suburban Flute Orchestra. I would like to thank everyone so very much for being here today at our debut concert of the West Suburban Flute Orchestra. So I started with this idea about a year ago to develop a flute orchestra. I wanted to create an ensemble experience that was a safe, welcoming, accepting, and inclusive to everyone. A place where we were a family of players that had one thing in common: the love of the flute. A year later, our West Suburban Flute Orchestra has over 130 flute players on our roster, with over 50 flute players joining us for our debut concert. The West Suburban Flute Orchestra has officially become the largest flute orchestra in the United States of America. There are a few people who I want to thank for being my rocks with the West Suburban Flute Orchestra during this entire journey, who have pumped their heart and soul to make this ensemble possible. They are Marcia Hustad, Teresa Muir, and Laura Stellwagen. Thank you to the three of you for your time, hard work, and dedication. I'd also like to thank our outstanding director of our very own West Suburban Flute Orchestra, Tim Januszewski, for his dedication and commitment in leading our orchestra. I'd like to thank the St. Paul Lutheran Church for being so welcoming of the West Suburban Flute Orchestra. St. Paul Lutheran Church generously allows us to use their space for our rehearsal and performance venue. And we are collecting a free will offering for St. Paul Lutheran Church. There is a basket by the entranceway for the offering. The money collected will go right back to the St. Paul Lutheran Church to thank them for generously allowing us to use this space. And it has been an absolute privilege and an honor working with all of these incredible people in our West Suburban Flute Orchestra family. Thank you to each of you for all of your support, encouragement, kindness, and belief in me and the West Suburban Flute Orchestra. And now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our director and get this concert started.
afternoon. Can everyone hear me? All right, there we go. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? There we go. Thank you so much. Oh, wow, it's just, I knew David said there was going to be like a lot of people here, but, just seeing it is fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You're in for a real treat for this part of the concert. So not only are we the West Suburban Flute Orchestra, consisting of all these flutes, we also have the West Suburban Low Flute Ensemble. Raise your hand if you've ever heard a low flute ensemble before. Okay, we got a couple people. There we go. So for everybody else, you're in for a real treat. So this consists of all the low flutes that we have in our ensemble. No, that is not piping in the background. Those are actual instruments. Our alto flutes, bass flutes, contralto, and our contrabass flutes. So if you've never heard a low flute ensemble, you are in for a real treat. So this next piece we're going to perform is called Voices from the Deep, and we're going to perform the last two movements of this piece. So please enjoy Voices of the Deep, featuring our West Suburban Low Flute Ensemble. righty. All good things have to come to an end at some point. Before we end our concert today, I just want to give a couple thank yous. First off, I want to thank David Kelsey because without him, none of us would be here. None of this whole, flute orchestra thing would have happened. And due to his hard work and his vision, we are all here today. So let's give a round of applause for David. I'd like to thank Larry and St. Paul Lutheran Church for having us. This has been just a beautiful church to rehearse in and just a great space. So thank you to St. Lutheran Church. I'd also like to thank all these amazing musicians behind me today. I always say as a conductor, you're really nothing without the musicians. Because I'm just, I don't know if you guys want to, come to a concert, see me just waving my hands back and forth and sweating the whole time. But without them, this is nothing, and we have nothing without them. And they've just been a joy and a privilege to work with, and I've had a wonderful time working with all of you. So please, for our musicians, let them all stand up. They love you. And then finally, of course, no ensemble or concert is complete without an audience. So I want to deeply thank all of you, especially for coming out on this bliss-free day and trying to deal with parking and all that stuff to support your loved ones and just to come out to hear some great music. So an applause to you. Thank you so much. All right, so we have one last piece for you. It doesn't really deserve too much of an introduction. Stars and Stripes Forever, John Philip Sousa. Thank you again for coming. Enjoy our last piece and have a happy Thanksgiving.